Students, now in these discussions we shall look at the various acts the government of India to prevent pollution. First the Air Act, then the Water Act, then you got Wildlife Protection Act, Forest Conservation Act, and finally we will see the EIA, that is Environmental Impact Assessment. In this discussion we will look into the Air Act. So the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act was passed in 1981 by Government of India to clean up our air by controlling pollution. The pollution levels in the air have now become very high, and they are leading to a lot of problems to human life as well as flora and fauna. So Government of India has passed this act, Air Act, in the 1981 so that we can have better quality of air in our country. So the main objectives of this act are to provide for prevention, control and abatement of air pollution. So air pollution should be prevented, should be controlled, and that is a main reason. Second is to provide for the establishment of central and state boards with a view to implement the act. So before this there were no central pollution control board, state pollution control boards. So based on the act, the boards have been set up so that they will implement the act in their respective states, and then to confer on the boards the powers to implement the provisions of the act and assign to the boards functions relating to pollution. So this pollution control board, state and central, they should have some powers to implement the provisions of the act and also some responsibilities relating to pollution control and prevention. The presence of pollution beyond certain limits due to various pollutants discharged through industrial emissions are monitored by the pollution control boards set up in every state. So most of the states now in India have got state pollution boards, like Goa has got Goa State Pollution Control Board, Karnataka has Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. So there are some limits fixed. I think you might have seen in I have seen in Goa, when you go to airport on the way, that Zuari Agrochemicals, they have put a board. What are the CO2 level, NOx level, SOx level, that is all temperature. Everything is displayed. A big LED display lights are provided. The central board. The main function of the central board is to implement legislation created to improve the quality of air and to prevent and control air pollution in the country. The main idea is to prevent and control the air pollution in the country. The board advises the central government on matters concerning the improvement of air quality and also coordinates activities, provides technical assistance and guidance to state boards and lays down standards for the quality of air. So this air quality, whatever is there, the limits have to be fixed. So the limits of pollutants which can be sent into the atmosphere, they are fixed. Like in all the industries, in the chimneys, the emissions are being dumped to the atmosphere. So the central board, pollution control board, that comes out with the standards, and they revise the standards also for the quality of air. And they also advise the respective state governments as well as central government regarding the improvement of air quality, and also coordinates the various activities and provides technical guidance. Now coming to state board. The state boards have the power to advise the state government on any matters concerning prevention and control of air pollution. They inspect air pollution control areas at intervals or whenever necessary. So in any state like Goa state, Karnataka state, so this pollution control boards, every districts they have got their offices, environmental officers are there. So they will inspect, they have got full powers to go and inspect the industries and collect the samples. They are empowered to provide standards for emission to be laid down for different industrial plants with regard to quality, quantity and composition of emission of air pollutants into the atmosphere. So these state pollution boards, they are empowered to provide standards of emission for different industries, okay, regarding the composition of emissions of air pollutants into the atmosphere. I can give some example, like power plants are there now, like coal-based power plants. So they release lot of sulfur into the atmosphere. So government of India and state government, they have advised now the thermal power plants to implement desulfurization of the flue gases, so that you take out sulfur from the flue gases before you send it to the atmosphere. Similarly, to reduce the fly ash in the chimneys of the power plants, they advise that there should be ESP, that electrostatic precipitator, to be installed, so that the fly ash in the emissions, air emissions through chimneys are reduced. So these kind of recommendations are given by the state as well as central board, and they are implemented by the various industries. A state board may establish or recognize a laboratory to perform this function, and even some states, they have got even central government has got central pollution control board has got lot of laboratories. They check lot of properties of water, air, soil, etc. And they have established almost full-fledged laboratories for the same. And even some private laboratories are also there, which are doing the consultancy business. So if the industry is not following the Air Act, the prevention and control of pollution, then there are penalties levied. The persons managing industry are to be penalized if they produce emissions of air pollution in excess of the standards laid down by the state board. So any industry, especially the management, top management, will be held responsible if excess pollutions are released into the atmosphere. The board also makes applications to the court for restraining persons causing air pollution. If somebody is not listening, then the state board can approach the respective courts so that the pollution can be prevented or reduced. So these are the salient features of the Air Act of 1981. So that is why now you can see there is some check on the quality of pollutants, and thus the quality of air has improved. In our next discussion, we shall look into the Water Act 1974.